Hello. Welcome to another episode, number 33, I think, of Get the Flick Out of Here. Spoiler alert, we're getting the flick out of here. Um, I mean, you better, because I am.
I don't know.
Kate,
We'll wait till then and find out.
with me as always is Kate. I'm Alex Pawlowski. It's after
This will
Christmas, and
probably
you're
be our last episode because I don't think Alex is going to work with me after this.
not
Probably
not.
on anything.
Listen, I will say this. I apologize for making you watch Monster Squad after Halloween. Okay, this is you getting me back, making me watch
But you're only sorry because of this.
Christmas with you after Christmas is even during Christmas it would be a war crime. But as it is, it's you've committed genocide on my sense of joy because I'll never be able to, it's gone. It's just gone. I felt a great disturbance in the force, as if millions of tiny voices were silenced forever, and those people that died were my ability to feel joy. Kate, you wanted to do this because it stars Freddie Prinze Jr.
Mm-hmm. And
the dried out husk of Freddie Prinze Jr. and also, as you put it, AJ Lee's sister,
Aimee Garcia.
Right, Aimee Garcia. Well, you said you put it to me, AJ Lee's sister, and here's how you know that your CM Punk markdom has reached critical levels. When you decide we have to watch a movie because CM Punk's wife's sister is in it, and the movie is this bad.
Okay, well, let's acknowledge the elephant in the room that we probably have a lot of wrestling fans that watch this show. And Freddie Prinze Jr. is a wrestling icon.
Is AJ Lee in it? Did she make a cameo that I wasn't aware of?
No, but her and her sister worked together on a bunch of projects. So I thought it would be fun. Plus, Freddie, wrestling legend, champion in this world. I thought this would be fun. And quite frankly, I could have been really mean this month. And I was mostly nice. We got to do Ernest Saves Christmas. Santa with Muscles was a different type of bad.
Here's the thing. Santa with Muscles is a bad movie. This is a movie. This is a movie. It's I won't say how bad it is, like from a technical standpoint or the writing or any. I loathe the movie. You know what I mean? It's not the movie's bad. It's that I personally hate it and wish bad things to happen to anybody who made it. That's my own personal thing. So there's a difference. I can't say it's objectively bad. I can say subjectively, I hated it. So, it's just, it's my own thing.
I feel like there's no appreciation for the fact that this is so much better than a lot of the other ones out there. I could have made you watch such worse stuff.
I guess
I spared you the Christmas wedding planner.
So you watched that instead of me, and that's nice. It does feel like at least the Christmas wedding planner had the idea. Let's put Joey Fatone in it, but not put him in the same scene as people. That's experimental.
Let's
have this lady be texting her dead mother, and plot twist when the dude finds out about it, he's like, "Well, that's cool."
That's normal.
That's normal. It's a normal thing. At least that's like imaginative. The thing about this movie, Kate, is it is a Netflix film. It is the same production company that brought you Falling for Christmas with Lindsay Lohan, and they decided to just lift major elements from the script. It is that okay? So wait, the widower has got to be a widower. It's always a widower. It's not a guy who's
to clarify up front. When you say from that script, It's every script. It's every script for one of these movies on Hallmark,
true.
on Lifetime, and on
I think
Netflix.
you're right. I think you're right. But the fact that they released the Lindsay Lohan one and this one like within an hour of each other, and we're like, nobody's gonna notice. Was so the widower has a precocious young daughter. It's always a daughter, it can never be a son. It's always a widower, can never be a divorcee, it can never be a single guy. It's got to be the widower with a young precocious daughter, who tragically her mother passed away. And also the heroine, her mother tragically passed away. And so she and the precocious daughter, her future stepdaughter, can bond over that and almost literally nothing else. And so that as soon as they realized, oh, he, of course, it's the same thing. I started to wish for amnesia. I started to wish that something heavy would land on AJ Lee's sister's head and she would forget who she was for 40 minutes, because that would have spiced things up a bit.
That was my favorite. I got several DMs from Alex while he was watching this, and my favorite was when he was just rooting for amnesia. Is just a fun message that most people in the world probably don't get, but I got to get it.
Yeah.
I will say, dead parent, widow, that is on your bingo card for these things.
Yeah.
That absolutely has to happen.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Kate, in full disclosure, while watching this movie, my internet crapped out. Just went, it committed suicide. It says, if you are going to use me for the purpose of watching this, then I can no longer go on living. And it just went kaplooey. And did not come back until, I don't know, an hour and a half ago. And I did not spend that time watching the rest of this movie. So we're going to get to a point where I'm gonna be no good at talking about this for the rest of the time. But then you get to explain the rest of it, and you can also tell me things that may or may not have happened, and I'll just believe you. I'll just believe whatever you say, because
I was gonna say we should force you to autocomplete it, and then I'll tell you if it's predictable enough that you're just correct
good.
in the process.
Sounds good. Let's do that too. AJ Lee's sister. And it feels, I don't want to trivialize her, but that is exactly how you described her to me. Aimee Garcia plays the lead of this. She is now listen, I don't know how else to describe it, because that seems to be what they're telling me. She is an aging pop star. How old is she supposed to be?
I don't know how old she's supposed to be, but it feels very much like they made her out to be like if J-Lo was losing steam. Like there's all these up and coming pop stars that are like trying to replace her. I don't know if they actually explicitly say like how old she's supposed to be, but she's age appropriate enough for someone with an 8-year-old daughter. So
15-year-old daughter.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, she's 15. That's right.
Yeah, she's gonna be 15. She's 14 and a half. 14 and 3/4. But it's a big deal that she's getting too old for this. And she seems like she's in very good shape, and she doesn't seem that old or what. Like, I mean, like if you ask me to like say how old are they telling you that she is? 40? How old does she seem?
Probably 40, yeah.
34? Like,
yeah.
And that might be too old. I don't like it. How old is Taylor Swift now? Like is it? I mean, like, is it kind of like how old are you allowed to be before? Getting a little long in the tooth there. Like there's a woman who in interviews her for some terrible magazine. It's like, I remember I grew up on you when I was a baby. And that woman is obviously in her early 20s. So I'm like, how? And then she says at one point, when I was 15, I didn't have a quinceañera because I was touring with J-Lo. So you've been doing this for 20-ish years as a pop star?
They do say decades. So
I guess.
She's had decades of hits.
But there's her album label has a new signee who's young, and she hates her because she's young. It does not appear, at least in the scenes that I watched, that there was any reason for her to despise this new young person, except for the fact that she is stealing her youth. And I was like, I find it hard to root for you if you hate the new girl simply because she's young.
I feel like it was that she hated that she was taking her spot and that it was getting very competitive.
Well, then hate she does, to her credit, hate the people who are making that decision. But they actually meet at one point in the film, and that young artist could not be more respectful. You know what I mean? She's like, "Hello, so good to meet you." Like, and she says, "I grew up listening to your stuff," which is true. It was like, "Oh, I was 30 when I first bought your album." Like, you're supposed to lie about how much older you are than the person you're talking to? It's a nice compliment. "I grew up listening to your stuff" is a wonderful compliment for somebody who now has a hit single. Obviously, they were influenced by your work. And she is just, "We're leaving because this young woman paid me a compliment." It was just.
See, your internet cut out before the face turn, clearly, because we do get her defense that comes later. But you're right. We do open with an interview that is like, well, we open with her like sexy Hispanic pop star montage, and then the interview was like about something about interview etiquette that this interviewer might want to learn. You don't ask 2 questions and be super mean to the person you're interviewing.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, "Do you find it hard to stay relevant? Because we saw your TikTok and it seems like your aging was like a very odd thing to say, especially woman to woman."
Yeah.
To be like,
TikTok
"You're getting
cringe.
old."
Any comment on your super cringe TikTok?
But I will say this like moves to a lot of this is centered around Hispanic culture, and they use Hispanic people. So that is nice. This was at least authentically produced and represented by people who are actually Hispanic. So it's authentic in that way. But we do learn very early. This is where I was nice to you. We learn very early the plot of the movie. We basically dive right into it, which is refreshing if you're someone that has seen multiple ones of these. They basically get to Big Money Barry, I think $1 billion Barry is going to cut Aimee Garcia from the label if they don't produce a Christmas hit that she's going to debut at this gala. And that all gets revealed probably within the first 10-15 minutes, which is like actually kind of nice. It does, however, make for a very anticlimactic middle of the movie.
So you noticed that too, huh? You noticed that too?
I sure did.
Good. I'm glad we're on the same page there, at least.
Things happen. A lot of them are Christmassy montages. And we do also find very early when she's headed to the studio. And she does say that she feels like she's been uninspired, and she doesn't want to like force a song until she finds out her back is against the wall. And we find that out because she's been making hits for decades, and because Dead Mom. She really hasn't been the same since Dead Mom, of course. And we meet. This is a direct lift from the Lindsay Lohan movie, and this I believe is what made you wish for Amnesia. Is we find out that she has an influencer boyfriend who's not really a boyfriend. Nope. They've broken up, but they don't want to go public about it because of their social numbers, Alex.
Yep.
He is a less cartoonish version of, I can't remember his name, but the guy in
Tad.
Tad. Of course it was Tad.
Tad.
Ricardo
is marginally better than Tad. I will say later he becomes a tattletale when he goes and he brings something from Instagram to show to $1 billion Barry so they can be mad at Christina. What's her something Costa's her last name. I forget what her first name is.
Christina.
AJ
Oh,
Lee's sister.
Christina.
They can
AJ
be
Lee's
very
sister.
mad at AJ Lee's sister.
Aimee Garcia.
Yeah. Yeah, the guy who's like, I only put two and two together until later when they have this scene at the dinner table. But the Freddie Prinze, his mom, is obsessed with the telenovela, and the star of that is the guy who AJ Lee's sister is dating. And I didn't make the connection until later. They're like, "Oh my God, you're dating him! I'm obsessed with this person." It's like, "Oh, well, all right."
Look,
I guess
they let you figure out a whole thing.
I think I was supposed to, as soon as he showed up at her recording studio, we were supposed to go, "Oh, that's the guy from the 12 seconds of footage of the telenovela we saw." But maybe I was wrong.
I kind of appreciate that they let us deduce a thing in this movie. I did also appreciate she's like preparing for the gala, and we find out she's on a lettuce diet. That made me laugh.
You get to that was funny, which is you get to switch up which style of lettuce you eat every day. Let me tell you, that day where you go from spinach to spring mix, it's life changing.
That I appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
I thought for that.
Mm-hmm.
She does seem to care about her work, which is nice. She wants to deliver.
Yes.
Which is good. She's just been put in this situation. But I
She
guess nothing.
Would you call assistant? Manager?
Yeah, like probably publicist, assistant, like kind of
something like that. Monique or whatever. I thought the relationship between them seemed authentic in some way, so that's decent, better than what I expected. But okay, so I feel really bad because I feel really bad about myself because there is a woman who exists who is younger than me. And therefore, I must go up to the roof of my building and sit and watch amateurs cover my songs. And one of them that I watch is happens to be Freddie Prinze Jr.'s daughter. And now I have decided to upend my entire life to go find her. Seems like a bit of a stretch.
That's not what happened.
I mean, basically.
No, what happened was you're taking all the Christmas magic out of it.
I'm sorry.
She went up to the roof
magic
because she is in this position. She's contemplating everything. She's going to lose her spot at the label. She is supposed to be writing this Christmas song, but she feels uninspired. So what do you do when you're uninspired? You hop on social media, and she sees a cover of one of her songs, to your point, from Freddie Prinze Jr.'s daughter, who covers it and says she and her mom used to sing this song all the time. It meant a lot to her. And before we get to that scene, we see Freddie Prinze Jr. is playing guitar in the background. He's like, doesn't want to be in his daughter's video. And she's like, you won't even be in it, but you have to play while I sing it. And she says that like her dream is basically to meet Aimee Garcia and maybe even get a selfie. And so Aimee Garcia is touched by this because she's a human being with the soul, Alex, unlike some people who deflate the Christmas magic from scenes like this. And she's touched by this. And her quinceañera is coming up, not Aimee Garcia's, Freddie Prinze Jr.'s daughter. And she's like, I want to perform it live or whatever. So that is nice. Freddie Prinze Jr., he tries in this movie real hard.
He does. He does. He took a long time off from acting. A long time off. I believe he just wanted to be a dad, which is totally honorable and a choice that I personally basically made. So I'm not going to say anything about that. I will say that if I disappeared from public life to raise children, and then when they were adults, I came back, I'm assuming also that I would have changed. But it's not like it's not jarring. Like That looks like the ghost of Freddie Prinze Jr. Like he's thin. He used to be all filled out because he was a male lead in movies and stuff. He has to have nice shoulders. He's just so. He looks emaciated. His hair is thinning. It's fine. He's an older dude, but normally we get to see actors age over the course of several movies and several years. So it's not like I know Freddie Prinze Jr. as a guy who was 25 years old and a heartthrob. And now, 20 years later, oh Jesus! Like you don't have there's no bridge between the two. And I found myself,
some things have changed since Scooby-Doo 2, Alex.
Here's the thing, exactly. I found myself genuinely concerned for Freddie Prinze Jr. watching the first half of this movie. So much so that I was like, I know this isn't the case, but is there going to be a twist where we find out he has terminal cancer and must find a new mom to take care of his daughter once he's gone? He did not look well. They needed to do
look that unwell. He looked like he was walking the line between trying to age gracefully and exist in LA. That's what he looked like to me.
Fair enough. He you know what they needed? A little bit of color from the makeup team. A little bit of color. He was very pale.
Wouldn't have hurt. It's adorable you think there was a budget for a makeup team on this. Yeah. Though Aimee Garcia had some looks in this movie as a pop star. So are you? Listen, I don't know where you cut off in this movie, and also your internet's being a little weird, so I don't know if.
Right. Oh, sorry about that. Well, the internet, I don't know, but it should be back. So what? There was a thing, an incident where she's like, "We're taking the SUV and driving to this girl's high school," and just I forget what the inciting incident was specifically. But that might have been the thing where like the young person paid her a compliment and she was like, "I'm leaving." But no, it was $1 Billion Barry said some insensitive things to her about. Oh, that was it. She was promised the cover of Fashion Beat magazine.
Yeah,
and they said you're not going to be the cover anymore. Hot young artist is going to be the cover girl now, and she's like, "I'm out of here. We're going." And I was like, okay, well, listen, maybe they shouldn't have promised something to you that they couldn't deliver. But according to the script of this movie, you are a has-been. Nobody's defending you. You are the script says you are a has-been, and she's got a top 10 single currently. It feels weird that they would give you the cover over her anyway. So they're still going to do a fashion shoot with you. You'll still be in the magazine. Does she get a cut of every magazine sold? If, by the way, magazines? Is it 1998? Like, so.
That's still a thing, though. If you're on the cover of like Cosmo or something, that's.
I suppose. But the idea of like, how dare you take the magazine cover from me? I must now venture deep into upstate New York to find out what the hell's going on. It's an odd thing to me. I don't know. It was weird. Just weird.
You just missed this whole
as an inciting
movie.
incident.
She's struggling with accepting that she's now second fiddle, and she has to go find out who she really is. She has to find the roots of herself, and that has to be done through an adventure that involves Christmas.
Yes. Well, yeah.
Duh. So she's going to try, and she was very moved by this thing with Freddie Prinze Jr.'s daughter and her quinceañera and her cover. There is an emotional pull, Alex, that is pulling her to go there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know what to say, but I mean, sure, I guess I didn't buy it. So
that part's understandable.
There you go. I didn't buy the so-called emotional connection that you're describing.
Sometimes in these movies, you have to accept.
like Mo, her publicist, whatever, says you are.
I really did like her. I thought she was
I liked
really
her
good.
too, and because I liked her, and because she seemed down to earth and actually like a real person, I was inclined to agree with her assessment of things. So when she goes, you are doing such a great job of avoiding having to record this single that I'm actually impressed. And so that's what I thought she was doing, not actually trying to go and find this connection that she had with this girl. She's like, this is a wonderful excuse. Also, maybe it'll get me some brownie points, with the public. Like, oh, here's a human interest story we'll put, on Entertainment Tonight, if that's still a thing. Hey, AJ Lee's sister's character's name showed up at this high school and took a photo with this girl who idolized her or whatever. That'll give you 5 minutes on E or whatever. And that's why she was doing it,
I
not
think it
because
can be
she
both.
really found a connection. But that's.
I mean, the whole movie is her trying to deny her emotional self because working, right? So this is just like another example of that. She won't be vulnerable. That's part of why her relationship with Ricardo didn't work. Like, she is focused on work to dodge the loss of her mother and the emotional responsibilities that come with being an aging pop star.
Sure.
This is part of it.
Right. Yeah.
So she goes.
Exactly what you said. Yeah.
So she goes to upstate New York. And we find out that Freddie Prinze Jr. is also a songwriter who's struggling, kind of.
He's a music teacher who once upon a time wanted to write songs. I think that's most music teachers. I think most music teachers wanted to be like musicians, and they were like,
they just also have to pay the bills.
It's hard. And I stupidly went to school and got a music degree, which doesn't really help you become a rock star, but you can use it to teach at a high school. So I'm going to do that just for a few years while I write all of the songs that will then get me signed by a record label. And then all of a sudden it's 20 years later and they look like a ghost and they have to just realize this is never going to happen. I'm being way too hard on Freddie Prinze Jr. I did not recall him looking like this. And it was a shock to my system.
He definitely did look different. I've also seen video clips of him and stuff since, so I was probably a little less jarred.
I have not. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't. We've all looked a little different since.
Listen, I look very different than I did 20 years ago. It's true, but I've also gotten to see me every day in the mirror.
In the mirror.
Very different thing.
We miss Miro.
Yeah, we do. I miss him so much. I'm seeing him in the mirror.
So, I mean, this is where we see the rest of the movie coming into play, right? Like, she has to get this song done before this gala. This gala is everything. This gala.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Here's the thing. Because of the fact that this movie is this movie,
right?
And also, admittedly, it does create the most conflict within the film. But also, of course it is. I didn't realize, I didn't think of this. I didn't actually listen for it while I was watching the movie. But when I was thinking about it today, I was like, is the quinceañera the same day as the gala? Does she have to choose between supporting one thing and then doing this thing she doesn't want to do that she has to do for her career? Like, it does feel like that kind of a thing. It's all set up for this conflict and drama within it. But she meets the girl, but there's a snowstorm. We can't let you drive back to New York in this. And the girl's like, you should stay at our house for dinner. And whatever her name is, says, yeah, sure, let's do it. And that's when Mo's like, you are procrastinating, and it's not pretty. But they go to the house, and that's when you are a music teacher. You write music. Great. Let's write a song together. And I'm like, I feel like there's 8 steps that skipped here between finding out that you used to write music and let's write a song together that's going to save my career. But to Freddie Prinze Jr.'s credit, he is like, what? he also has the thought that I did of,
yes,
I feel like this is happening too fast. And that's when we meet more of Frida. And I believe that is, again, if I'm correct, if I'm wrong, dead mother's mother?
Yes.
Not Freddie Prinze Jr.'s mother?
But yeah,
another immediate lift from the script of Lynn. I wonder if the same script doctor employed by Netflix worked on both of these things. Just said, I got one idea today and I'm using them for both scripts, and nobody cared, and it just, that's what we're doing. So
I think there's
dead
like 5
mother's mother,
you get, and you fill them in. Like,
honestly, they chose the same one for these two. We just happen to watch them in the same month.
Yeah,
but
they crank out like hundreds of these over a year. It's insane.
There was a big deal about how Aimee Garcia's shoes weren't snow ready. So
none of her clothing was, and there was not like a lot of like cold breath coming off.
No. It did look a lot like soap flakes. Not snowflakes, soap flakes falling down around them. And anyway, no, it was so they meet Frida, and then Frida breaks out the tequila and gets them drunk, so they stay overnight. And hey, let's work on the song some more. And gosh, where did I leave off? Blessedly, we're going to the quinceañera rehearsal. We're going to talk more about the song. I think they came up with a hook together. They were like, there ain't no Christmas without you. And then they were like, hey, these girls, there's at the quinceañera, apparently there's going to be a musical number, and the kids are rehearsing it. And she's like, let me spice things up with some choreography. And the choreography is too sexy. And then it was great because then she looks over and Freddie Prinze Jr. is like going,
it's like they're 15.
And then my internet went, and I didn't watch the rest of the movie. And so I have no idea what happened from here, but I could probably guess.
Would you like to navigate it as if you've seen it, and I'll stop you?
No,
here's
no. You take me through, and then like, okay, and then you get lay out something, and then go, and then what happened, and then I'll try and feel this out. So there you go. Right.
Ooh, this is gonna be fun as I'm looking at my notes. Okay. This is so fun. Okay, I'm just trying to marriage where you unfortunately got cut off.
It's worse. I was so upset by it.
So did you see when $1 Billion Barry was in the studio and she was like, I'm writing a song. I'm writing the song here. And
yes. And then $1 Billion Barry, she's like, oh, he's like, hey, this gala is Sunday. You're right. There is such a time crunch. And that's why I shouldn't be spending time talking on the phone. Bye. Boop. And he goes, $1 Billion Barry doesn't get hung up on. $1 Billion Barry hangs up on people. And I was like, so he said that line wrong, and you decided not to do a second cut.
Oh, I mean, that cannot.
Barry hangs up on people. That's how you say that line. You don't say $1 Billion Barry hangs up on people, because that's a stupid thing.
$1 Billion Barry
hangs up on people. $1 Billion Barry hangs up on people. $1 Billion Barry hangs up on people. No, like, okay, tell the actor what
hangs up on people
word to influence. To like, this is the one we do it, Barry. But that was it. And then
hangs up on people. Made it sound like he talks to animals on the reg.
Right, yeah. $1 Billion Barry hangs up on people. Don't hang up on animals or vegetables, but I do hang up on people. Anyway,
so good.
yeah. Then they went to the quinceanera rehearsal. That's where she met the Tias.
Yes.
Dead mom's sisters who are not dead.
Mhm.
And
Correct.
they are
Very much alive.
they love whatever her name is, Christina Costa, I think is what her name is.
Yeah.
But they also wish that she could have brought Beyonce, her friend Beyonce. So she can never get away from any of this stuff. Oh, there's the one where Freddie Prinze. I loved the your early stuff. Your later stuff's a little dancey for me. It's like your later stuff sucks. Your later stuff's a pile of crap. But your early stuff's great.
It's good, yeah. Back when you were when your mom was alive, probably.
A little dancey for me.
A little dancey.
Dancey meaning anyway.
Did you see when they were at the piano and got writer's block?
No.
Oh, it's like the best worst scene in the whole movie. They're sitting down at the piano and they're trying to write, and they've clearly caught feelings for each other.
Oh,
and
of course.
she says, "This is if we were doing 2 truths and a lie, or just 3 lies is what we normally do. You would be like, there's no way this is real. Oh, it is." She goes, "I've never co-written before." And he was like, "On all the songs you've done, you've never written with anybody?" And she was like, "No." And he was like, "Actually, I've never written with anyone either. It's a little too," and she was like, "intimate." And he's like, "Yeah." It's so good. And then they're stumbling and he's like, "What would you do if you were in the studio and you got writer's block? Like if you were in a normal environment that you clearly blew off to stay in upstate New York and write with me?" And she's like, I would go outside. Like I would go out and clear my mind. And he's like, "Well, we don't have Manhattan, but we do have this." And they go outside and there's Christmas magic everywhere. And they're sitting on a bench. And she's like,
"Oh, I missed the Christmas magic. Oh, no.
You did miss the Christmas magic."
Maybe that would have put me in a better state of mind.
You're going to have to go back and watch it because you would keep the flag.
Oh, I will. As soon as I get done here, I'm going to fire up the Netflix and go back and resume.
Mm-hmm. It'll put you in the Christmas spirit again.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like, she's just so dazzled by lights.
Wait.
It's just Christmas lights. They're beautiful.
She grew up and lives in Manhattan, where there are literally lights everywhere.
Well, he does say that. Like, Freddie Prinze tried with this. He was like, "It's not Manhattan, but like we do have this or whatever." And
we do have lights, just a significantly smaller amount of lights.
Yeah, and like in a very specific Christmassy way. But she's just like so dazzled, and they're on the park bench and clearly catching feelings, and they come up with the perfect line for the bridge, Alex.
Oh,
and that perfect line is, "I've tried to hide this love inside." And it was almost like it was inspired by what was brewing inside of her all along. It's artistic genius.
It's convenient. Convenient, yeah.
Again, credit to Freddie Prinze Jr. She says just that line of like, "I've tried to hide this love inside," and he's kind of like, this is escalating way too quickly, as if she was just saying that to him. His reaction is actually very good, and she's like, "It's perfect for the bridge," and they're like, "Oh my god!" So we do get like this Christmassy montagey thing, and then Ricardo shows up, her ex, not ex, at the house the next day.
Right. This is because he tattletailed to $1 Billion Barry because one of the Tias put on her Instagram that they were hanging out with AJ Lee's sister. And then he shows up at the recording studio and going like, "Have you seen this?" And Barry's like, "I knew it. I know. Let's go. We should stop her from doing anything that she likes to do because we are the villains of this picture." They became like I don't know, weird villain. They became the Wet Bandits. Why are you guys this villain duo like, let's go stop her from doing nice things? It just seemed weird.
So she, at this point, says to Ricardo, that he is like, what are you doing here? We have this gala coming up that we should like be prepared for. And because she just has this strong, independent woman is being held hostage by a relationship she's not actually in, she has to go. She just has to go. But in that time, she has also said, like, you should be my special guests at this gala. That comes before they even wrote the song together. And then, of course, Freddie Prinze has to play at the gala to accompany her because he wrote the rest of the song. So he's like, I wouldn't miss it for the world. And then we go back to, I think it's back on the rooftop that she had been scrolling at, which is also poetic now. But we're back in New York. The next kind of major thing that happens is Ricardo is trying to keep up appearances. And he's like, do you have feelings for this guy? And she's like, no, we're just working together. And he was like, well, that's not how it looks. And she's like, well, that's not how it is. And he's like, I only care about how it looks, in case you didn't understand that that's my entire character. But he does reveal, like, it isn't entirely a publicity relationship. It was a relationship that they were in, and it didn't work because she's so guarded. And he, like, doesn't want to give up on it. And she's like, we tried, and it didn't work. And he's like, well, if you want out of this, like, publicly, then just, like, say so. And she's like, no, it's working for the brand. So now it kind of seems like she's kind of a dick. Like, he, like, expressed real feelings, and she's, like, won't let him out of it. But it was, like, because she didn't want to hurt him. Like, she's like, we'll keep it up for the brand. And also, I don't want to actually hurt you, kind of was, like, the vibe that I got. So the song is finished. The gala comes along. She meets, I don't know if it was Sherry or Cherry. I'm guessing Cherry, if it's supposed to be like a young and sexy rising pop star. They're at the gala, of course. And $1 Billion Barry is like, she's going to be on SNL. You know what that can do to launch a career. I don't have to tell you, kind of implying that, like, I guess that that was what launched her into superstardom. And this is where she's kind of just like, oh, congratulations. Like, she's now sincerely excited to go perform the song. She knows she has a hit. Freddie Prinze Jr. is there. They actually have some, like, cute, like, Freddie Prinze Jr. does what he can with this movie. Like, he says to her, like, wow, that looked like it was rough. And she's like, what are you talking about? And he was like, your fake smile. She's like, what do you mean? And he's kind of like, or whatever at her, which then causes her to authentically smile, which Ricardo is extremely upset by the fact that Freddie Prinze Jr. made her sincerely smile. They go perform the song, and this is where I'll let you decide what happens next.
Oh, no. Okay, well, either... No, wait. Here's my question. This will determine what I will say next. Approximately how much time is left in the film at this point?
Ooh, I'm going to say 23 minutes.
Okay. Then something has to go horribly wrong during the performance so they can recover from it and everything could be fine by the end. So, or it goes incredibly well and she forgets about him. Like she's like, oh, this is awesome. My career is saved. Thanks for helping me out. Goodbye. I'm gonna go with that. Okay, that the song goes incredibly well. Everyone cheers for it. It's great, and she immediately was like, oh, this is my song. I did this. And she takes all the credit for it, and she gets all the adulation, and she completely forgets about him. And Freddie Prinze Jr. totally okay with it. totally okay with it on the outside. But his daughter reminds him that actually you helped. I feel like everyone should be giving you at least like part of the credit. And he's like, well, I don't know. I mean, she's a big star, and she's got a different life than we do, and it's fine. I have to bottle all my feelings up because I'm the dopey love interest guy who doesn't actually have any real motivations outside of his daughter and this girl he just met that he's madly in love with. So I'll just go back to teaching music. But AJ Lee's sister feels guilty. Maybe Mo comes and talks to her about how you turned into a giant bitch about everything. Like, what happened to this guy you were totally in love with? And don't lie to me, you totally were. And you've just kicked him to the curb. And you know you don't care about Ricardo, but you're posting on Instagram that now you got this number one hit for Christmas. Oh, it was, but you've changed. You've changed, and I don't like it. I'm leaving. And Mo leaves, and she's left there by herself. And maybe then she goes up to the rooftop and she's still scrolling the same thing. And then she's like, oh, you know what? I have changed. Oh, and then she goes and she sees that the girl posted something on her Instagram or whatever about how sad she is that Christina's like, I'm really happy for her, but also I'm really sad for my dad. No, I don't know what to do. Oh, Christmas is ruined. If only my hero Christina would come and save the day. And then, because we've established earlier in the show, that she can't drive because she hasn't driven anywhere in a decade, that she drives herself all the way to and maybe then she gets caught in a snowstorm again, and then Freddie Prinze Jr. has to go and rescue her. And then they kiss, and then they get married. How close was that?
Delightfully not, actually. Oh, great, delightfully
great,
not.
Good.
Some elements you were right about. It does go extremely well. But what I liked is because she's not full heel. It's not that she forgets about him. It's that it goes so well that like $1 Billion Barry and everybody is like ushering her away from him, and she's like, "Oh no!" Looking back, and $1 Billion Barry.
Oh no! I must try so hard to stay, but oh no, I'm not going to really.
They're like physically restraining her, and he goes, that SNL spot that was hers is yours now. And she goes, you can't do that to her. And he was like, it's already done.
$1 Billion Barry is a $1 billion bitch.
Yeah, it's amazing how on a dime and how quickly he was able to. Hello, SNL. SNL, yes. I would like to switch out the act that you have coming up for like probably this weekend.
Hello, business.
Absolutely hilarious. Hello, business. I'm Barry the mogul. But she is like, Lorne? No, you can't do that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hello, is this Lorne Michaels? I need to immediately make a change. Switch out all your cute promos with your host. So she's like, you can't do that to her. So she's come full circle now. She's like, good. You shouldn't be doing that to other people. The way you treated me, I don't like it. And she tracks down Freddie Prinze Jr. and basically she's like, well, where are you going? Like, I have SNL now. Like, you can't just up and leave or whatever. And he is like,
nobody else could learn the part of the guitar part from this song.
No, well, he's actually on piano at the gala.
Well,
so multi-instrumentalist Freddie Prinze Jr. in this. And she's like, all these past few days, was it just about the song for you? And she's like, well, because he doesn't know the Ricardo thing is a ruse too. Like he thinks that she's actually with him, but they've developed this bond. And he's like, I'm not sticking around to play second fiddle. And I'm like, good on you, Freddie Prinze Jr. And she's like, well, yes, it's always about business. It's only ever been about business. I am only about business. So they go back to upstate New York where they live. Or she kind of does unveil like this whole thing has just been like a game of survival for her. And he goes, what good is surviving if you aren't living? And the most Perfectly Netflixy, Hallmarky line ever written. I'm so sad you didn't see this part. But she's like evolved now, right? So we do at least see her like grow a little bit emotionally. Good. Her and Ricardo break up. Ricardo tells the media about this, and kind of a funnier scene of the movie, he's like, I want to make it abundantly clear though that I broke up with her. Which I thought was actually kind of cute. Sure. He's like coming out of the building. They're now publicly splitting, and he's like, this thing that's always been for publicity, I'm taking control of the situation. Mm-hmm. And she shows up to perform at Freddie Prinze Jr.'s daughter's quinceañera, is like the good guy coming in to save the day moment that we get. Yeah. So she performs live, she completes this whole thing, and then they have a moment where she's like, well, now that this breakup happened or whatever, I don't know where I'm gonna spend Christmas. Or he's like, what are you doing for Christmas? And she's like, it's Christmas with you, of course. And she's like, but what about after?
Does she say Christmas with you? Like she says the title
of
the
course.
Movie?
Well, and it's the name of the song that they wrote together. Is Christmas with you.
Okay.
She doesn't say the name of the title of the movie. The title of the movie is named after the song that they wrote together, which is
okay, fine. But she does say the title of the movie.
She does.
Credits. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he's like, what about after? And so then that's basically it. They live happily ever after. I will say the performance at the quinceañera is probably too sexy for a 15-year-old's birthday party. Like, it was more in line with what she was trying to choreograph for all of them. It was a little bit weird. But that's, I think, basically what we go home with is her, Freddie Prinze Jr., admitting that they're in love with each other. And yeah, that's the end. So you were right about her like coming back to kind of save the day, but she wasn't. Right. Her heart was always there. And he does kind of say like, I like that he called her out on her BS a little bit. I thought that was good.
Well,
he was just like, no. Good. And he does say, so wait, you made me feel more in the past few days than I felt in years or whatever. We got one of those in there too.
Does she like break it off with Bad News Barry or whatever his name is, $1 Billion Barry? Or like, you can't do that to her or whatever, and like, and he's like, oh, you're right. I've been bad this whole time. Or like, how is their business relationship after that?
I think she just kind of storms out on the whole thing. I can't.
And then we never actually get
I don't think we ever get it fully resolved, but when she's like, you can't do that to Cherry Sherry, I think that's kind of like the implied end of it, though I can't fully remember.
So here's the deal. If she winds up not being a part of $1 Billion Barry's label at the end of this anyway, then again, it's nice that she has the #1 hit now. But the movie struggles between she's done. She's a laughingstock. Look how old she is. My God. And you're a legend. Everyone who you meet who's a regular person loves you and remembers loving everything. Like, she absolutely could get like a residency in Vegas before this movie even starts and have a completely awesome second act to her career. But she's stuck in being the old version of herself. So when Barry says, you're going to do what I say because I say it, or you're off the label, she could have said, that's cool. I'm going to go and do something else because you suck and I don't want to work for you anymore. And she could have done that. But it was very important to her that she stay on Barry's label until Barry did the unforgivable by taking away SNL from another person and giving it to her. And then she's like, I'm gone. There's always a thing of like, well, you wound up in the same place you would have been anyway.
She came to realize what was important.
Right, Freddie Prinze Jr. And the 15-year-old,
and
now she's
writing from an authentic place and being a real artist instead of a pop star. You're just not on the emotional journey.
No, I'm certainly not. Certainly not. There was a point, Kate, when this movie, when my internet conked out, and then I realized, so I was like, sometimes Netflix, the app on my smart TV, will just go and just like have to reboot itself, and I was like, oh, crap, and I got to wait for that to happen before I get to watch the rest of this, and then like the internet stopped working on my laptop, and I was like, no more internet. And it's like, if this is the last thing I ever get to do with internet in my life was watch this movie, I'll never forgive Kate. I'll never forgive her. If the internet has just gone kablooey all over the world, because, you know, there are those movies where they say there's going to be a cyber attack that takes out the internet forever. No more internet. And I was like, if that's what this has just happened, it's going to be a giant tragedy. For me personally.
See, where I struggle with do I get the flick out of here or not comes down to one thing. As a movie, get the flick out of here. But as an experience, I did get a message that said, where is it? All we need is some light amnesia to spice things up. And then you just absolutely rooting for amnesia is just like, I wouldn't have gotten that message without this movie. Right. All we need is some light amnesia to spice things up. It is guaranteed a message I'll never receive ever again in my life. To me, it's worth sitting through the hour and a half that this film was for that single moment in time.
No, it was worth you watching the entire movie so you could make me watch half of the movie before my internet committed suicide.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I get
the flick out of here.
Right.
As this viewing experience, I keep it in because it's just, to me, I would waste way more hours of my time to elicit a message that says, all we need is some light amnesia to spice things up. I would watch this movie 6 times to elicit that message. And I do want to say, I gave Alex an out, and I just said,
it's true.
All I said was, you don't have to watch this. Because you said, we're going to have to say some. This started with Alex saying, we're going to have you describe it to me because I just saw the trailer and I can't watch this movie. To which I retorted, it's not as bad as Santa with Muscles. If you made it through that, you could. And I also reminded him that I watch Raw on Mondays, which is terrible and 3 hours long.
Yeah.
Because I care about this man that much. All right?
Yeah.
All he had to do was allocute publicly and say, Kate is a better person than I am. And he didn't have to sit through it. But because of pride, which is is really its own lesson. That could be its own Hallmark movie or Netflix movie.
It's true.
Because of Alex's pride, he chose to sit and watch.
I would not give you that satisfaction.
No.
I would not give you that satisfaction.
But at the same time, I appreciate that your internet was like, I love you too much to make you watch the rest of this film. I think that's sweet.
Yes.
That's sweet. So that's where I stand on getting the flick out of here. Flick? Yes. Experience? Absolutely not. Yeah. You give me a text that says you need light amnesia to spice things up. I can't rightfully kick it out.
That's good. I'm glad that I could give you that amount of joy because I certainly got none out of any of this experience. So get the flick out of here over and over again, forever and ever. Amen. But now we're blessedly moving away from holiday themed things and into the whatever is coming up because I don't know what it is. So we'll figure something out. I don't know if there'll be like a a theme of things for January. We don't have like a. We had oh my God November and praying for my own December when I was for watching this one. But I don't know what
it's
January
October.
is. So. It's October too. That's true.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what
New
January
year, new
is.
movie.
Yeah. Anyway, yes. Come back here, watch this space next week because we'll be doing the same ridiculous shenanigans, and that's what we do here. Yes, and next week, whatever it is, whatever the film is, we will tell you whether or not we are going to get the flick out of here. Goodbye, everybody. Happy New Year.
RESPECT. Click the subscribe button and find out what it means to me. Nah, that doesn't have a ring to it. But if you like videos about real news stories that are funny, stupid, or weird, subscribe now.